Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Fili Daily Vlog. I am Gus.
I am drinking my coffee.
I'm Amber.
And I am Tim.
And yeah, hope you are having a great day. Today is Thursday, April 9th, 2020. And
How is it
that sounds
Thursday
right.
already?
yeah, I know, it's terrifying.
This week is weird. My weeks are just running together, man. I can't.
I swear yesterday was Monday.
Differentiating between like days of the week and weekend days are just
No longer
slowly but
exists.
surely not happening. Right.
The only thing that has really helped me is we don't really do much on Saturdays. And then on Sunday we tune into our church's webcast thing, so that's something different. And then we just started having our Bible study again online on Tuesday nights. So those kind of help break up the week a little bit in my mind and make it not quite so running together, but it still runs together a fair amount.
Right.
So
And I say generally for me, it's usually like Wednesday night is movie night, which I missed last night because I just was too tired.
Right.
And then Thursdays was usually my banjo lesson, which I need to actually contact my instructor and see what the plan is, because I don't know if he even wants to try Zoom, because I'm not willing to go down there during this because I don't want to run the risk of
yeah,
Exposing people. Right.
and I bet it's not legal for either of you probably.
Right. That there's no way that can be labeled essential travel or business.
Yeah. Well, did you see yesterday that speaking of COVID, like we do every morning, apparently some of the Republicans in charge of Kansas evidently have eliminated the ban on large groups in Kansas because they're stupid.
I believe it only applies to the more
Church
recent
gathering, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah, which I'm in total agreement with you, Tim.
I think they're worried about Easter.
And that's
Which
so
is
dumb, because more people are gonna get sick and die because of this,
Right.
Yeah.
Especially if those people go to their church.
which
Yeah.
they will, because people.
Go to church on Easter. That's like the most church gone day ever.
It's
like everybody feels really guilty about not going the rest of the year, so
Uh-huh.
everyone goes on Easter.
It's either
Sunday.
Easter or Christmas. It's pretty much those are the main two,
Right.
and it's just gonna.
It's not
No
smart.
matter. I don't want to seem like someone who is berating other people of faith, but just because you go, no matter how much you pray, if you're going out in public and surrounding yourself with a lot of people, you're putting them at risk and you're putting yourself at risk, and it's not going to save you.
Yeah, I appreciate the leadership of our church because they've been taking it really seriously for quite a while now, and they've continued to pare things down as necessary. And so now, like, I don't know how many people are required to do their webcasts on Sundays, but it's I think 3 to 4 people in the booth, and then a pastor, the worship pastor, maybe a musician or two. So it's probably close to 10, but it's in a big room and they're spread out and they're being relatively careful. So,
But I mean, stuff like that, like they all of them need to be doing it that way and doing it through a webcast. I know that like there's probably a lot of older folks who may not have necessarily access to a computer, although that would be surprising by now.
Right.
If they didn't.
There's a couple of churches in my hometown and in like the areas around my hometown that are doing church like a drive-in movie theater would.
oh wow,
That's interesting.
They have big parking lots, so they like put a giant projector screen up outside, project everything they want up on the screen, like get like a couple of like really really loud speakers, so you just have to like crack your window just a tiny bit to hear, and then they're doing church outdoors at like a drive-in theater. Everybody stays in their car. Everybody just shows up in the parking lot. The pastor stands up at the front, speaks to everybody in their car, and then everybody drives home.
See, that's at least a better alternative. I mean, that's
Right.
you still can kind
Everybody
of like be there in person,
should be doing that. Like,
Like that, or yeah,
Especially, like,
that's fine.
right, especially like older folks who don't
Yeah.
have access to the internet or have a way to get on Zoom or have a way to get on YouTube and watch
Exactly.
a cast, right? Like,
Yeah, like stuff like that. And honestly, like most, actually, pretty much most all churches by now would likely have a projector.
right. And a parking
'cause-
lot big enough for everybody to park in, because, you know,
Yeah.
where else is your congregation of people going to park?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they should
Yeah.
more should be considering that. I mean, I think the ultimate goal would be to stream online, but
Right.
as a good secondary, like that's a great way to be able to go out and do that and still maintain
Social distancing.
right. That's a smart way to do it.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm concerned that there's going to be just a. I guess I saw something this morning that said like in 5 days we should know like the effect of this.
Yeah, because that's about the time. It's like, what, 4 to 14 days before people start showing any kind of symptoms. So,
Yeah, roughly.
yep. And I
just
feel like it's gonna cause another like surge of people being infected, just based on the fact that like we've already kind of seen the effects of us all like social distancing. We've already seen the effects that it can slow it down, and it has. So the
Yeah.
second you turn people loose, or the second people think that the orders have no teeth, or that it was, you know, not necessarily a hoax, but something less to be worried about, more likely the people are going to be, you know, out and about and, you know,
Yeah, no, exactly, and it's
feeling emboldened again. Just
which
to
is
go
dumb because
out.
we are nowhere out of the woods on this yet.
Yeah.
I cannot. I don't understand why why people need to feel the need to do this. They're kind. For lack of a better way to put it, they're playing with people's lives at this point.
Yeah, I definitely.
I
see
know
this-
religion is important to people, and because it's an important thing, but it's not going into your sanctuary or your church during this pandemic is not smart. It's not intelligent.
I see this as a basically a political movement, and it's, you know, I think these Republican leaders in our state house are basically, you know, they realized, okay, we have probably the most important Christian holiday, Easter,
Right.
and you know, we have a Democratic governor who basically just said, you know, that
Sorry,
you're
Easter's
not, yeah.
canceled.
I mean, more or less. And so they see this as like, yeah, most churches probably are going to abide by these rules anyway, but
Yeah.
this is a free political attack they can take and
To make
have
themselves look better to other Republicans.
right. And I mean, you've already seen some ads and stuff on the internet that are basically saying, you know, Laura Kelly attacked Easter and didn't allow,
Right.
and tried to destroy it. You know, so why would you vote for this person again? So I think it was a pretty sneaky move that probably, I mean, I hope won't have much real effect in the world, because I don't think most churches are going to do that. But I mean,
I would hope not.
even if one church does it, it's a bad thing
Right.
for sure. But
I just don't. Man, I don't understand like going like doing that to like taking advantage of the situation like this to do that
yeah,
Yeah, so
for political gain.
you
that
could
that is
definitely
downright.
tell. You could definitely tell where your politicians' hearts lie. Do
Yeah.
they lie with actually, you know, caring for the people, or do they just lie with, you know, getting their seat back the next year, or getting their party in a certain position? Like,
Right, exactly.
this isn't
It's downright
this isn't
despicable.
about it isn't about political positioning. It's about how you
Yeah.
care for your people, and I feel like most people will sense that. I feel like the majority of our generation are the ones that are posting all the stuff on Facebook. Like, I know, okay, so like memes aren't always the best thing, but like the meme culture right now is just like kicking tail about this stuff. Like,
Yeah, they are.
you see all the stuff about like if your landlord is trying to kick you out during this, they're just scummy people. Or like if your business has laid you off with no reason and taken your health insurance away, then that's how they treat people. And like after all of this stuff, you shouldn't support that business, or you shouldn't try to work for that business ever again. Like people are getting trashed. People are getting trashed on for not responding to people's needs correctly. And I feel like politically it's going to go the same way. So like if Republicans continue to just trash on people, they're going to start catching those trashy memes about them just not giving a crap about people. So I mean, it's going to
I don't think we've covered on the vlog yet the fact that Bernie Sanders dropped out of the race yesterday.
Well, so I heard that maybe it wasn't necessarily a dropout. Perhaps he suspended his campaign.
Right.
Which is not necessarily a complete dropout of the race.
I don't think he's I don't think he's going to get the DNC vote.
He's urging his supporters to vote for Biden.
Okay.
But
he'll probably be on the ticket as a third party option, but the problem with that is people are going to split the vote, and then Trump's just going to win outright. So
I think more than likely he probably, I mean, if I understood what I heard this morning, I don't think he'll be written on the ballot, but I don't think he'll be printed, but people will be able to write him in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, I'm definitely in the anything but Trump campaign at this moment, so that would be my hope.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
I feel like we're going to lose, as sad as it is, I think we're going to lose a lot of the people that are our age that are really jaded with the system. And it's those people are going to be the, if it's not Bernie, it's no one group, and they're going to either not vote. Right, they're either going to not vote at all, or they're going to write Bernie in, and it's just going to take votes away from the DNC in general, and then it's just going to be Republican by default because we don't have enough people to keep that from happening.
Yeah, that's a worst case scenario for sure.
Right.
I would love to see Andrew Cuomo enter the race, because I would vote for him. I would very much vote for him. And he seems like a strong leader and somebody who's just logical and doesn't have the history that Biden has. And I don't think I
know anything about him.
He's the governor of New York State.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
obviously he's handling some really tough crap right now, but he's doing pretty good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He would definitely be somebody I'd like to be able to vote for in the future for presidency.
I think the make or break it for Biden is going to be who his vice is.
Kind of like John McCain in 2008.
A really, really big difference for him.
When John McCain chose Sarah Palin as his running mate in 2008, that was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin right there.
If he hadn't done that, if he had picked someone that was a little less
sensible,
or a little more sensible, he would have probably stood a much better chance against Obama in 2008. But
I think Biden, he's going to have a tough time picking because everybody's like calling for Warren, and I don't know if he's going to stick to that or if he's going to pick his own kind of off in La La Land, but we'll see.
I would bet that, if he's trying to appeal to anyone, he'll probably try to appeal to people on the right.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he picked. This is a controversial statement, and it's probably not true, but I wouldn't be terribly surprised if he picked somebody from the other side of the aisle, even, which hasn't been done in recent history. But
I thought that, but the problem is he needs to be able to win back the Democratic vote. Like I said,
I totally agree with you there.
He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose so many Democrats. Period. Right. Like he needs to pick somebody, and I think that's why people are calling for somebody like Warren because.
Yeah.
That's going to win some of that Democratic vote back, but
there are lots of different little or smaller populations of voters that are disenfranchised from their party on either side, and unfortunately you can't appeal to all of them. You have to pick one or several.
I think Biden, as it is appealing to some of those like disenfranchised, kicked out right wing people who are like really, really like centrists almost, kind of like
Right.
you're like very, very like basic Republicans and like your midline Democrats are all like, oh, this guy's not so bad because he pretty much walks that middle line pretty well with what he says. So I feel like he's going to get those people. What he's going to start missing out in is the people that were like super far left that were like, yeah, Bernie, and they're going to be, it's Bernie or nothing. And I think those are the people he needs to convince to come back a little more center. Or he's going to lose them.
I would be really surprised if he picked somebody further left for his running mate.
Yeah, because it might
part
scare
of
off
me
some
would-
of those Republicans.
I don't think she's an option, but it would be interesting to see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah. Oh God, if he picked her though, like he'd lose the Republican vote in a
Exactly,
heartbeat.
he would,
'Cause,
and so that's
like,
why he won't.
Ugh. Oof. Yeah, just the stigma around her. He would lose so many people on the right if he had them to begin with.
I'd like to see him pick, hopefully a woman, hopefully a minority, somebody that's not a white male.
Oh man,
Um,
somebody the other day was like, "I bet he's gonna pick Hillary Clinton," and I was just like, "Ah, no,
No,
ah."
I don't think anyone is that dumb at this point. I mean, yeah, that would just be.
Oh, there are people out there.
That
Oh
would
God,
that would just be an awful decision.
yeah, I just couldn't. Oh man, no.
Have you guys ever seen Joe Kennedy? He's a representative from the state of. He's in the Senate. He's from Massachusetts, which is a very Democratic state. So I
Gotcha.
don't know that he stands a chance, but I've been following him for the last couple of years, and I don't think he's 39. So
Okay.
I believe wasn't John F. Kennedy, wasn't he in his late 30s when he started running? Maybe I'm crazy. He's a grandnephew of John F. Kennedy. And he's the grandson of Robert F. Kennedy, who was obviously assassinated in the late 60s.
Right. That
as
seems
well.
like a decent bloodline. Maybe
Right.
Maybe we need to start electing people based on bloodline. That's what it is. We're
That
gonna,
seems like an awful decision.
go back to kings and queens.
I was
era.
gonna say that's going back into the.
We're gonna pick like Obama's children when they get older, and we'll pick like the.
What
Kennedy's
attracts me to this
kids and-
guy is that he is, I don't know, he really seems like he has a heart for people that are suffering and people that aren't
Right.
in great positions.
Right.
And-
That makes sense.
but I'm definitely of the opinion that like having one family in politics isn't a great thing for democracy, and also we need
we can
less
just
white
recycle.
males in leadership.
We can
So-
recycle the good. We can recycle the good bloodlines. Like I said, we'll get like Obama's kids to come back, and we'll get
the really
Lincoln.
I don't know if you followed the curse of the Kennedy family.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've looked at that before.
You know, it
Yeah.
struck
It
again
was-
a couple weeks
it was
ago.
pretty
There
rough
was
on them.
there was another two people that died, a mother and son that were kayaking,
Wow.
and they drowned, unfortunately. So the curse of the Kennedy family continues.
Oof. That's rough.
Shall we move on to happy news? Or happy things?
We haven't even talked
Never.
about the numbers yet.
We must.
Oh
talk
my gosh,
to-
you're right. I forgot.
Oh, it really, here's the good news. The world map that, yesterday we said we thought we were seeing a slight flattening of the curve. And
Right.
I think it's kind of starting to stick. We're right at 1.4 million cases, still 89,000 deaths.
Wow.
In the United States, we are at 429,000 cases, about 15,000 deaths. We are not quite to the point that we're getting flat. We're still, I'd say it's still like a 45-degree angle
So
upwards.
how many were there yesterday here?
About the same, I believe. A few less, but we haven't gained as much in the last 24 hours as we had before.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope
So-
that sticks. I got
Yeah,
stuff
so
I
do
want
I.
to do this summer.
Yeah. The really interesting thing is going to be when social distancing stops being recommended.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think
have
the
no
last
idea.
thing I saw was June, late June, if it continues the way it is.
Yeah.
But if we have another surge or spike of people, it may be well into August. So,
Yeah, they say, I guess this was it the Spanish influenza that it kind of was similar to this in that the first time around it wasn't so bad
yeah.
and it kind of died out, and then
Right.
it came back with a vengeance, and that's when it killed however many million
All
people
of
it
those
did.
people. Right.
So hopefully we, we're better prepared this time.
Hopefully
Holy
we get it down
cow.
to one run and let it.
Ugh.
Hold
So
Uh,
looking at Kansas,
That doesn't sound good.
right? That's exactly what I wanted to hear today.
so our graph does not look so positive in Kansas.
That does not surprise me.
We kind of had a flattening, and then yesterday we jumped up, and I think yesterday we reported, and I'm trying to, looks like maybe 150 new cases yesterday.
Wow. Yeah.
And guess what happened yesterday?
That doesn't surprise
What we were
me.
talking about this morning.
Yeah. So we're up to 1,000 cases, 38 deaths in Kansas.
Yeah.
So that, if you could see the graph, I mean, it's basically like the growth rate yesterday, the amount of new cases was almost twice the previous record, which was on the 6th. And that was
Honestly-
like 80 new cases on the 6th.
Honestly, I bet it is because we're not like retroactively reporting based on like when the test was taken. We're just taking a mass load of tests and sending them to like somewhere
Yeah.
to be processed. So I bet that lab probably just released in bulk their numbers for
That
the
could
day.
be.
And
Yeah.
they
That
just
could
like
be.
released the last week's worth of testing numbers.
Yeah,
And
that's,
we have
that's entirely
increased.
possible.
We have increased the number of people we've been testing. So I feel like since Kansas was so far behind on who they were testing and how fast they were testing them, we'll probably see a pretty exponential growth like here pretty soon, just based on the sole number of people we're testing. Which is not to say that the numbers increasing that fast is not like a bad thing or it shouldn't be scary, because no, it definitely is. That just means we failed the first time around trying to figure out what our numbers are, and now we're just now getting
Yeah.
traction. And just now letting those people know, hey, those hundreds of people you came into contact while you were feeling great now also have a chance of being sick. You should call them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will continue to keep track of those numbers and report them here, and hopefully positive trends continue and negative ones go away, and
Absolutely.
that's about all we can hope for. So let's transition over to some questions. Does anyone have a question?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, let's hear it.
So your question of the day. What smell brings back great memories?
Oh, God. Okay. I have a smell that brings back, like, not necessarily great memories, but just memories. And it's it's kind of relevant now because, like, I am just, like, I'm doing it to myself, like, every day now, which is terrible. But my mom used to spray stuff down with, like, Lysol when people would get sick. And I'm not talking, like, sneezy coughy sick. I'm talking, like, when people would throw up, like, everything would get Lysoled in the house. So, like, now every time I smell Lysol, I just instantly start gagging, which is
Oh, wow.
like totally relevant now because like I have to Lysol everything. So
Yeah.
we go shopping and then I come back and Lysol everything, and I just like holding the can, spraying stuff, and like the whole time. It's so terrible.
This in response to that answer. In elementary school, when kids threw up, I remember they had this pink sand the senators threw
Yeah.
on the throw up.
Yep.
And it had like a chemical reaction, and it smelled something awful. So
Yes.
I remember when I was in, it would have to be like first, second, or third grade. We had like rehearsal for the choir concert. And one kid, this was like in our gymnasium / theater / cafeteria.
Football stadium?
Cafeteria. So,
Okay.
so we were like standing on the risers, and this kid threw up, and so the janitors came and put the pink sand on it, And then one by one, kids kept losing it and throwing up. And I was one of the kids, and I don't know how many of us actually threw up, but it was like 5 or 10 of us that ended up in the nurse's station. And it was all because of the smell of that stupid stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Tim, were these the answers you were expecting?
Yeah.
I have no memories. No. There are certain ones like nothing in particular like super big comes to mind, but there are certain scents that like the scent that like my aunt's apartment or my grandma's house that
would also make him throw up.
No. I like this one. No, those bring those more of a smell of just. I enjoy being at both of those places, or have. So.
Right.
Although I will say stuff like incense, or just the smell like of an incense stick or an incense cone, just reminds me of home because growing up we a lot of times did that instead of candles.
That makes sense.
So, along that train of thought, is there like, do you guys have like a favorite smell? Like a favorite scent?
I've been very blessed in that in my life I've had the opportunity to travel overseas several times, and when you've heard of culture shock, and when you're in a new culture in a new place, one of the things that is most different is the smell, and in a lot of different places in third world countries, it's kind of the smell of poverty. It's the smell of human sewage and that kind of thing, which is awful. But
tasting.
In places in like Asia, for instance, I got to visit China when I was about 12 years old, and there's just like the smell that just permeates society is just totally different than our smells, and it's very incense heavy, and so when we get something, say like a tablecloth, and it says it's from China or India. I will smell that, and it brings me back to when I was in China, because like those fabrics, those things that come from over there, they do carry with them that smell, which is just kind of mind-boggling. But anyway, that's my response.
That's cool.
I don't know. The smell of other
That's a
cultures.
good one.
I like that.
That's a good one. I think my favorite smell. Ooh, that's really hard because like. I don't know. I've smelled a lot of like really nice things, but I think like
you're not allowed to pick the smell of your dog's feet when they smell like corn chips.
That's weird. No, why would anyone choose that? It's true though.
There are people who would choose that though.
It is true though. Your dog's feet do smell like corn chips. And it's just like the chemicals. It's the chemicals and things that are like just on their feet and like. Yeah. Yep. Now you're gonna have to go pick up your dog later and smell their feet because they do smell like corn chips.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing.
No, I think my favorite smell is like probably like the baby animal smell, like puppy breath or like babies' hair, like their heads smell like. I like that smell a lot, and I always have. Like every time our cat has had like kittens or a dog has had puppies, I'm just like, oh my goodness, put this thing right next to my face.
It's the smell of youth.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Oh, that wasn't creepy at all.
Yes, good. Soon I will extract that youthful essence.
Right? I think that's probably
sniff
why.
it into my nostrils.
That's probably why I have 2 dogs right now, because like my friend had puppies and she's like, "Come look at these puppies," and like
always a mistake.
Yeah, always a mistake. I fell in love with both of them, so that's what I got.
There you go. I don't know that I have one necessarily favorite smell for a long time, and this is before like the pumpkin spice latte craze. Like, just the general smell of pumpkin spice was always something I've loved. Just like I was born in the fall. Fall is my favorite season. So just everything surrounding that time of year is like my favorite thing.
Yep.
But so like that has been a very prevalent one in my life. But along with that, like I loved like the smell of fresh cut grass or lilacs or lavender. Like lilacs are my favorite flower, and I love the smell of those. But like stuff like the smell of like a fresh baked sourdough bread. Like,
yeah. I do really, really like that early morning fresh fall smell.
Yep.
Campfire.
Yep.
Campfire.
Right. All of those things just are great. They're just so great.
I love the smell of rain also.
Oh
Smell
yeah,
of
that's
just
good
about to rain.
I'm hoping that we get some of that here soon. April
Yeah, it
showers,
kinda-
folks. April showers.
Right. I was gonna say it kind of looks like it's a little gloomy out today, so we might get
does,
some rain. It's supposed to
I haven't
freeze
set foot at
tonight.
my door yet.
It's supposed to freeze tonight.
I heard from my neighbor that evidently we were supposed to get snow sometime this week.
Yeah,
Right,
on
like,
Monday is what Hannah's been telling me.
I keep getting like the little emergency notification on my weather app, and it's like it's gonna freeze. It's gonna freeze. Like pull all of your important things inside because they're gonna die.
Oh God. The only thing I need to bring back in is my hose because I went out and cleaned both my condenser and my neighbor's condenser yesterday since it was nice enough out.
Nice.
Oh, this is an interesting question.
Okay.
What is the ugliest vegetable?
I'd have to say eggplant. Just ugly.
I would have to say any kind of gourd, pretty much. Like
What?
Like the ones that
Pumpkins are adorable.
They're kind of
Hey, hang on a second.
comedic
I have a caveat with
How
that.
dare
The
you?
ones that-
How dare you, sir? You just said you like fall, and here you are hating on
no.
all kinds of squashes.
Okay. Let me add a caveat to that. The ones that are like have all the bumps and stuff that are like
Those are
weird
ugly.
looking and like.
Those are the coolest pumpkins, though,
How are those?
because they're so
Lot.
neat.
Many of them are comedically bad looking though. They're
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
you don't look at them and think, "You guys." You look at them and you're like, "Oh,
Aw,
that's poor,
right.
poor pumpkin."
Don't get me wrong. I love pumpkins. I just like. I think in general, gourds are like the ugliest vegetable.
How dare you?
Fair enough.
What's a
Are you gonna send the gourd army after me?
yes? What is a Brussels sprout? Does that count? Because I
I
feel
would
like
consider that to
those,
be like a mini cabbage.
those are pretty ugly.
They're pretty tasty though.
We make Brussels sprouts pretty often with our Blue Apron meals, and
Yeah.
yeah, they're pretty gross looking. Yeah,
They're pretty ugly.
Well, when they're steamed, they look even grosser. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that I've come to love like Brussels sprouts, or I
Right.
did like them when I was
Right.
growing up. Like most kids think they're gross, like those and like lima beans. Like I grew up and like okay, they're
Right.
fine.
As
Yeah,
long
I
as
don't,
you
I don't
don't
think that it tastes bad.
boil them, boiling anything in my mind is like the worst way to prepare. Like if you
Yeah.
boil cabbage,
Yeah.
ugh. But if you
Yeah.
saute
Although
it, you know,
boiled cabbage and kielbasa is fantastic.
I've never had that. I'll have to.
Yeah.
It's delightful. It's
Yeah.
mostly the kielbasa.
Yeah. I get that though. Yep. I think that's probably the ugliest vegetable for me. Something like that.
Okay, well, we'd like to hear what your ugliest vegetable is. If you have one,
Sure.
please
And you
comment.
can't
or
say a family member.
yeah, that would be very not nice. Okay, well, thank you for tuning in to the Fili Daily Vlog for today. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe below. And if you'd like to be notified every time we post a new episode, please hit that notification bell as well. So for all of us here at Fili Creative, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
See ya.